Let's talk first ascents. Yesterday, I was doing the top Yough for the first time. I was extremely nervous. I went to Swallow Falls State Park, hiked down to the falls, and checked it out. Started looking at the water, trying to read it beforehand, get some beta before I actually got on the river, before I met with the rest of the crew. These are people I've never met before, so I was meeting up with a bunch of strangers and putting a lot of my faith into them. I think that's kind of cool how you can just meet total strangers from Facebook or wherever you meet people to paddle with and go and paddle with them on new runs. And there's kind of this trust sometimes through mutual friends because he didn't know me, I didn't know him, and he was willing to take us down. It was pretty funny. I got there, got to the takeout where we we're meeting for the day. And the guy's like, "Oh, this is your first time doing this run too?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, I thought your buddy that was supposed to come, it was his." And I was like, "No, it's my first time." And he's like, "Oh shit." And then I'm like, "Yeah, that boat over there that I brought today, this is my first time running a river in that too." And he was like, "Oh shit." He knew what he was getting himself into. So it was three of us for the first time on the top Yough and him taking us all down. Shout out to Carl. And I think he did a lot of things right in this case with taking down three people who've never been on the river. He went over safety with us. This isn't something that I hear people talk about before getting on the river. He was asking us if we had med kits, what's in our med kits, if we had throw ropes, pin kits, emergency contact tools, emergency blankets, what river knives we had, all this kind of safety information you don't think about. And then he went through all the major rapids with us and discussed pretty much the hazards, the different lines you could do on these different rapids. And yeah, it's not going to be as good as actually being there at the rapid and seeing, but it's still good to get some beta beforehand. And then we all discussed there's no shame in walking around a rapid. If you're not feeling comfortable, even as soon as you get on the river and you're not feeling it, you can get off and go home and take a break. The river's going to be there another day. It's okay. It's better to be safe than sorry. And I think that was a good discussion for us to have is, hey guys, if you get to a rapid, you're not feeling it, you don't want to do it, just walk around. That's fine. No one's going to shame anyone for it. And if they do, get them out of your group. You don't want to be around people or shaming other people for if they're not feeling up to it and they just want to walk. As a personal choice, and everyone should be allowed to make that choice without any criticism from other people. Stop pressuring people into doing rivers or rapids that they are not comfortable with. If they're not comfortable, they shouldn't go until they are comfortable themselves. Yes, it's good to push yourself, but not above your skills so far. We got through to the first rapid, got out at Swallow Falls, and scouted it for about 10-15 minutes. I was personally terrified. It's a run I've never been on. It looked very intimidating from above. It looked like there's a lot of places you could get maybe stuck, run into a rock, broach up against, bruise yourself. Not anything that's gonna really hold you, but more of just a bad day or a bad swim more than anything. Nothing that's gonna really make you drown. But it's still terrifying. And then there's about 30 people there as well. So that was very intimidating. And now there's a lot of pressure because you don't want to mess up when 30 people are watching. I kept telling myself because the biggest thing I struggle with is confidence on a new run. I have the skills to do a lot bigger rivers, but the confidence is what I need to work on the most. So how I get that confidence for myself is by asking people I've paddled with their opinion that I respect, and I ask them, "Hey, I want to do this river. Do you think I can do it?" I'll go to 2 or 3 people I trust and know and ask them, and if they say yes, then I'll be like, "Okay, I can do this. I got this." I'm gonna be nervous. That's just part of it. And I think what you don't see a lot of the times from watching professionals like Dane Jackson is you don't see their nervousness, their fear. And I think it's still there. I think they go and stuff all the time. They're fearful, but they get through it. They have techniques that they're not showing on camera that calm them down, get them through the water. They're trusting their team. They trust their gear. They trust their skills. They know they've done stuff similar before, and that gets them through it. And I think it's okay. It's okay to be nervous. It's okay to be scared, especially on a first run, something you've not ever done before. Maybe you're a class 3 paddler pushing to class 4 and it's your first time doing it. Of course you're going to be nervous. It's new. It's new to you. You're going to be nervous. And I think that's okay. And finding those techniques to remind yourself that you can do it, you can make it through. And for me, at the top of Swallow Falls, I did some breathing exercises. I did slow, deep breaths to really ground me. And that's something my therapist taught me was a method to ground yourself and calm yourself down. And that's what I did above the drop. And then I watched the first 2 people go down and then slowly made my way over to the lip and went over Swallow Falls. Didn't hit the line, but I went right over the Piton Rock. And thankfully, I was in my Jackson Arvana. It's a bigger rocker. So I went right over the rock, didn't go into it. If I was in something like maybe an Antics or a Half Slice or something with lower rocker, I probably would have hit that Piton Rock. But luckily I wasn't. I was in a bigger boat. So I went right over it, made it and it felt a lot better. I think sometimes when you stand there, you're looking at the rapid, you're gonna make it up to be something more than it actually is in your head. But when you actually do it, it's a lot easier, especially when you have the skills to do it, but maybe not that confidence. Sometimes you just gotta go ahead and do it. And to me, I kept telling myself, like, you have the skills. And you drove 3.5 hours. You're not just gonna walk around it. And we had one person in our crew walk around it, and that's totally okay. They weren't as comfortable in that river, so they walked around it, and that's fine. And then we got to Swallow Tail Falls, which is a little more dangerous, especially with 3 first timers and only one person who knows the river. Pretty much, I say if the person who's leading wants us to walk, we're gonna walk. So we made this decision together. Probably just walk Swallowtail Falls. Ran all the boogie water all the way down to Suckhole. Put our boats up on shore. Walked over to Suckhole. Started scouting it, seeing where the lines would go. It was really cool. We saw someone come down doing a solo lap in a half slice. I think they were in a dagger rewind, and they made it look so smooth and so easy. But because there's 3 first timers, one person who's done it a bunch, we decided to walk that because there on the right side, there's a strainer that if you really fuck up, which it seems you would really have to try by swimming the first hole, you could end up in there and it wouldn't be a good day for anyone. And the day was getting a little later. So it's perfectly okay to make that decision, especially as a group, to just walk around and enjoy the rest of the river. It's always going to be there. And you can come back when you have not 3 first timers and run it. And the rest of the run is mostly just class 2-3 boogie water, a bunch of rocks to avoid. It was a great first descent. Started out completely nervous, but as soon as we got past Swallow Falls, I was a lot more confident, a lot more comfortable, and had a great day. It was just cold as fuck, but you know, that's part of paddling in the fall, paddling in the winter. It's going to be cold, just put on more layers. The only downside is when you're wearing that many layers, it does constrict your movement. It makes it harder to get those nice strokes. It makes it harder to get rotation, but especially if you're going to start paddling out somewhere like west, you got to get used to the cold water. So you need to maybe lose some weight. I know I need to fit your dry suit better, or get a size bigger so you can fit more layers underneath. Those are some of the things I did to calm myself down before a new rapid, a new river, was just some breathing exercises, reminding myself that I have the skills, I have a good crew with me. And maybe those are some things you can try on the river, or if you have any techniques that you do that you want to share, make sure you put them in the comments so other people can try those techniques and see if it works for them. Everyone's different, and I think that's what a lot of the medical field, especially in the mental health field, misses, is they try to apply general solutions to everyone when everyone's different, everyone works differently. There is no one size fits all approach. There are some things that generally work for most people, but not all.